be up here.
Hi, and welcome to Freedom Watch Afghanistan. I'm Staff Sgt. Trevor Pedro. In Afghanistan, landmines and other unexploded ordinances, or UXOs, are a hazard to coalition forces as well as local nationals. In this report, Senior Airman Daniel Delgado shows us how airmen are helping to eliminate that threat.
At Bagram, airmen assigned to the 755th Air Expeditionary Group's Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit, or EOD, make Afghanistan safer by destroying UXOs found in the community.
We remove the threats from the area that cause injuries to the children, to the locals that are there, whether they trip over them or find them and think they're a toy. And we also take those items out of the enemy's hands. They cannot turn them into IEDs in the future to use on our own coalition forces.
There's just tons upon tons of unexploded ordnance laying around, and the locals a lot of times will get their hands on this kind of stuff. So for us to go out there and get this away from them, it helps to protect them and to keep coalition forces safe as well.
Because these airmen are often in the field around dangerous materials, this is a job they take seriously.
We're at war, and a lot of people tend to forget that, and they don't understand the kind of job that we're doing out there, and that there are still people trying to kill us, and we're trying to stop that from happening.
Over the course of their deployment, these airmen have destroyed over 100 tons of munitions. Senior Airman Daniel Delgado, Bagram Airfield, Afghanistan.
Elsewhere in Afghanistan, coalition forces based out of Bagram and on their way to Kabul stopped to provide medical relief to a 10-year-old Afghan boy who was struck by a civilian vehicle. The boy was immediately taken to Bagram's Craig Joint Theater Hospital for further medical care. Air Force Major Dr. Nicole Thomas, a pediatrician, said that he was conscious when he arrived at the hospital and underwent extensive surgery where coalition doctors stabilized his pelvis and other broken bones. Despite the quick maneuvers of the convoying soldiers and doctors, the boy suffered too much damage to his leg and it had to be amputated. The boy's grandfather said through an interpreter if it wasn't for the soldiers stopping, the boy would have died, and that his grandson is a lucky one. Now here's a look at your photos from the field.
Six troops from the Afghan Air Corps graduated in Information Dissemination Operations Training class at Forward Operating Base Fenty. The class was run by U.S. military personnel and taught participants how to interact with the populace and how to effectively disseminate information.
All branches of the military have some type of voluntary retraining or cross-training program in order to stabilize the force. Senior Airman Rob Joswiak caught up with one soldier who's trading in his field mentality for a holy one.
Chaplain Olson, which is my chaplain.
Staff Sergeant Tracy Jackson spent a dozen years in the infantry. After a deployment to Afghanistan and another to Iraq, his hearing became unsuitable for infantry duty. He then went to a retraining board where he thought he was going to get one of his three job choices.
I guess you shake those up in the dice and throw them out and they come up 56 mic. Because I came back 2 weeks later and that's what she said I was.
From the infantry to chaplain's assistant just like that. And while he is still a soldier, there are some differences.
The biggest part for me was my language. Again, being a non-commissioned officer and a squad leader, my language was pretty foul. And so when a soldier sits there and does something wrong, I'm usually knee-deep in their behind.
Whether it's taking care of something for the chaplain, a fellow soldier, or even his own troop, Staff Sergeant Jackson is always on the go.
I see his job, and it's very, very busy. People think chaplain assistants just sit on their tail all the time, but no, not this man. He keeps me busy, and he's always pretty busy himself. But he's a good guy to work for.
So if you stop by the Bagram Chapel and run into a bald NCO, he may be an infantryman or he may be a chaplain's assistant, but all in all, he's a soldier through and through. Senior Airman Rob Joswiak, Bagram Airfield, Afghanistan.
And that's all for this edition of Freedom Watch Afghanistan. You can watch our program anytime online. Just go to PentagonChannel.mil and click on Freedom Watch Afghanistan. From all of us here at AFN Afghanistan, stationed out of Bagram Airfield, I'm Staff Sergeant Trevor Pedro. Thanks for watching.